Have you scoured across YouTube searching for how to actually handstand just for you to get unpractical tips like squeeze your core and glutes? Well, I did the exact same, and it's so annoying for people to give me unpractical tips that do not work. I'm here to hopefully stop this and make this the last handstand video you need. And stick to the end because there's a secret step that I have in here that I have not found on YouTube that was actually a game changer for my handstand progress. Okay, so there's basically 5 main steps in order to achieve the handstand, but first, it would be a lot easier if you had a basic foundation of strength. 10 clean push-ups, and you should be chilling. But by clean, I mean fully locked out arms, going all the way down, nose to ground or chest to ground, and then going all the way back up. So the 2 components that you need to attain the handstand is to first get the strength, and then secondly, learn how to kick up and balance with the practical cues. The structure I have this progression in is that you first start with the strength, and then it gets more and more technical. So make sure to not skip or cheat any of the steps to make the most of this guide. Side note, even when I could hit a 10-second handstand, I still had to go back to some of these steps because I had to strengthen my foundation, and it was for me to get more consistent. Now, the first step in the progression is to gain strength in the handstand position in the form of the wall handstand hold. For the wall handstand hold, start in a push-up position with your feet next to the wall. Then, take steps up the wall while you walk your hands backwards towards the wall. In the beginning, you may barely be able to walk back because of strength and also probably fear, but you will be able to eventually get your stomach closer to the wall very quickly. Once you get as close as you can to the wall, make sure to lock out your arms and straighten your legs. This will make it a lot easier. Now, if you're struggling with even walking up the wall or holding yourself for like 5 seconds, then you could do pike holds or elevated pike holds. Once you can do an elevated pike hold at 90 degrees for 20 seconds, you will be ready for the wall walks. And once you can get your whole stomach to the wall and hold it for 30 seconds, then you are ready for the next progression. However, you're still going to keep the wall handstand holds in your routine until you can hit 60 seconds with good form. The way this progression system works is that there's 2 target goals. One for just progressing to the next step, and then one for actually mastering the step, which I'm going to be calling graduation. Side note, if you think you can already do the requirement, but you haven't done it and you're just trying to skip to the next progression, don't skip this step or any of the steps. Rather, if you can really do it, then just hit the requirement real quick and then you can go next. Some common mistakes in the wall hold are having bent arms, knees on the wall, and being arched too hard. For the bent arms, straighten your arms. For the knees on the wall, straighten your legs. And if you're too arched, walk closer to the wall with your hands and reach higher with your feet. Now, the second step in this progression is to gain some balance on your hands with the frog stand. This will also start to condition your wrists to hold your full body weight on them. Start with your hands on the ground with a width of around the width you would do a handstand in or a bit wider. This should be around shoulder width or a little wider. Put your inner thighs on your elbows, then lean forwards until your elbows are bent at around 90 degrees. Now you have to start balancing with your hands. If you're falling forwards, press with your fingertips, and if you're falling backwards, then release with your fingertips and shift the weight to your palm. This is exactly how you balance in the actual handstand position. Also, put a pillow or something soft in front of you when you first start for your face if you fall forwards. It makes it really comfortable to fall instead of scary. Now, once you can do 20 seconds with no pillow, you pass and you can go to the next progression. Graduation is at 60 seconds. The third step of the progression is to gain some upside down body awareness with both a demand for strength and balance with the headstand. For the headstand, you want to start with your hands around shoulder width apart and put your forehead on the ground in front of your hands, making a tripod position. Low-key like sujood for my Muslim brothers. Now, there's a sweet spot to the tripod shape. 2 backwards with your head and you don't have much balance, but 2 forwards with your head and it takes too much strength. Then you want to lift up your hips over your head, shifting the weight from your feet to your head and arms. Once your hips are above your head, push into the ground to lift your legs off of the ground into a tuck headstand. Note, your feet should already feel extremely light before you even push into the ground. Slowly extend your legs and glutes upwards until you get to the full extended handstand. Extending your glutes will make you go more forwards, while extending your quads will make you go more backwards. Now, if you're struggling with extending upwards, start with a tuck hold, then to a 90-degree hold. Then you can fully extend. Hold each of these mini progressions for 20 seconds and then go to the next. Also, when you are fully extended in the headstand, make sure to bring both legs together so your legs aren't wobbling around. Also, this looks way cleaner. Now, once you can hold the full extended headstand for 30 seconds, you pass. And graduation is at 60 seconds. The fourth step of the progression is using the wall to get comfortable with the proper mechanics of the handstand. This step is divided into 2 mini steps. Step 1 of 2 is to kick up to the wall for a back-to-wall handstand. Put your hands shoulder width apart around 1 foot away from the wall. Make sure you lean forward so that your shoulders are over your hands. Then bring one foot closer to you while keeping the other one straight and practice with a little bounce. Make sure your shoulders aren't moving all over the place when you bounce. This is a very common mistake with beginners when doing handstands. To fix this, make sure to push into the ground with your arms fully straight when kicking up. This will keep your shoulders stable. Then, kick up to the wall. Your front leg should be straight at all times, but the other one can be either bent or straight. When you can kick up to the wall 5 times in a row, you are ready for step 2 of 2. No graduation here. Step 2 of 2 is to kick up to the wall the exact way as before, 1 foot away, this time exact. Then push off the wall with your fingertips. When you get to the back to wall handstand position, lock out your arms and push into the ground. With your legs, straighten them out and reach them as tall as possible. Once you can do that, then push with your fingertips into the ground really hard until your feet just come off the wall. This makes it way easier for the force you push into the ground with your fingers to reach all the way through your body into your legs to get your legs off of the wall without cheating by kicking or anything like that. Note, you shouldn't be taking a whole 30 seconds of rest between your reps. These should be pretty rapid fire with like a maximum of like 5-second breather between each rep. Now once you can do 5 clean presses off the wall, you're ready to move on to the secret step 4.5. Like I said before, step 4.5 is a secret step I personally have never found on YouTube. I actually just thought of the idea and just started practicing it. Now step 4.5 is to go into the starting position of a headstand, but instead of going into the headstand by going into a tuck and extending up, you kick up into the full extended headstand as you would for the handstand. For this drill and the actual handstand, you're going to be kicking up into a forward straddle. To kick up with a forward straddle, your upper leg should be the only one going up for a quick second. Once your upper leg reaches a certain point, the bottom leg will rise on its own. Your leg should also be fully straight and reaching as far as possible. The analogy I like to think of is to imagine a human hamster wheel and that the radius is exactly as long as your leg reaching all the way out. Your feet have paintbrushes on them and you have to paint the circumference of the wheel, but not actually like the whole wheel, but usually maybe like 135 degrees or something like that. When initially trying to implement this analogy, there may be spots on the wheel that you haven't painted well enough. These are the spots that you have to focus on more. When you think about actually painting a wall, you don't just paint the wall once and then it's perfectly fine. No, you have to go over it and go over it, coat the layers and all that. These reps, these repetitions are the coding of this analogy. Once you are properly settled at the balance point, bring both of your legs to the apex at the same time. This is a lot easier than bringing one leg and then the other really quickly because the latter way uses a lot more momentum, which in turn is more difficult to control. Also, the other ways are really easy to pick up once you get the forward straddle. If you are too scared of falling forwards and keep preemptively moving your hands forward to catch yourself, then try either one, to have a partner spot you on the lower back, or even using a wall. If you're using a wall, start with your headstand from an arm's distance away from the wall. For this step, you should get comfortable with kicking up to the headstand with the proper form, 5 in a row without fail, without a spotter or a wall, and then you can proceed to the final step. Now before you move on to the final step 5, make sure to have the 3 graduation requirements done by here. So that would be the 60-second wall hold, the 60-second frog stand, and the 60-second headstand. The 5th and final step of this progression is to start kicking up in free space into the handstand and start standing with the practical cues. Let me break it down. Start with your hands shoulder width apart or a bit wider, and with your shoulders over your hands. Also make sure to look into a triangle position. You can draw a line between your middle fingers and then look in the middle. Also, keep your hips high before you even kick up. This way, you're already closer to the handstand position and you won't have to move your hips as much, which will make your attempts more consistent and stable. 2. Kick up with the forward straddle as explained in detail before. Once you get to the balance point, push into the ground extra hard to stabilize yourself. Then, proceed to bring both legs up to the sky at the same time. We should bring them together above your hips in a straight line. If you feel one leg is farther forwards or backwards than the other, move the opposite one slower and the further one faster to make them both arrive at the apex at the same time. 3. Keep both legs fully straightened out when you kick up, which should also result in your legs having some slight tension. You should almost try to reach the ceiling or the sky with your feet when you kick up. You can even try kicking up between a doorway and getting your feet to hold you at the top of the handstand to get the feel of reaching tall. 4. When kicking up, focus on kicking up as high as possible and not forwards like into a wall. This should result in you kicking up not too hard, but rather with the perfect strength to the perfect height. If you feel like you're constantly falling either forwards or backwards, almost like you're being dragged and that you're inevitably going to fall, it is because you are not kicking up and slash or reaching towards the sky enough. Ironically, you don't want to think of the handstand kick-up as you kicking up to the handstand. Rather, you actually want to think of it as you pushing your body up, kind of like in a handstand press with minimal leg momentum. This is exactly why having a lot of strength in the wall handstand hold is crucial for the handstand, and why this cue is probably the most important out of all of them. Before even trying to do actual kick-up attempts, you have to perfect the bounce first. This is the easiest way to work up to the full handstand by slowly increasing the range of motion, just like other static holds, like the front lever, the back lever, and the human flag. The bounce is basically just a mini handstand kick-up. While maintaining the 5 cues I just mentioned, bounce up once with your back leg, then bounce up again, this time a bit higher than before. Slowly bounce higher while maintaining control. You maintain control during the bounces and during the full handstand while pushing into the ground hard and maintaining stable shoulders, just like how I mentioned before. Keep bouncing higher and higher until eventually you may accidentally land in the balance point. Now, especially with the handstand kick-ups, you want to be recording yourself and analyzing what you're doing good and bad. This is by far the best way to progress in your handstand. If you apply all these cues, then you will get the handstand. If you're still struggling, then know that there's one cue that you're just not doing well enough. Usually you'll find yourself doing one cue good, but another one bad. And then next attempt, you will correct it, but another one will not be good enough. That's why recording yourself is so crucial for you progressing in the handstand. Just a couple things I need to mention. 1. Don't keep kicking up back to back to back. You're going to get nowhere and you're just going to fatigue yourself. Take a quick 5 seconds before each attempt and only do a max of 5 attempts per set of attempts. Then look at yourself in a video and analyze. If you feel tired or fatigued while doing your handstand attempts, then just take a rest because your handstand attempts will be trash if you're tired. 3. Handstands are something that, however good you are, it kind of just depends on the day. Some days you'll be going crazy while other days you'll just be flopping around in the air. Don't get disappointed if you're having a bad handstand day. Instead, just keep focusing on the cues and try to break the slump that you feel you're in. Because in all honesty, it's actually very easy to break a handstand slump with just a little bit of focus and analysis. 4. I recommend doing handstand attempts throughout your day. A, to get more reps in, and B, also they're just kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. Even if you're on the frog stand step, for example, just do some frog stands throughout your day. 5. If you hit a target goal for a specific exercise, but you still don't feel comfortable in it, then just higher the goal for yourself. For example, if you hit 20 seconds on the frog stand, but you still don't feel comfortable in it, then up it to 30 seconds because this will transfer more into the actual handstand. That's it for the guide. If you want a guide like this for the handstand push-up, then let me know. Also, if you have any questions, I'm going to be going through them down below, so let me know them. Peace.